Perfect. Okay, so to make your underscore CM underscore NG and underscore add or color mask, normal gloss, and additive, you need to use the Space Engineer's texture packing tool. To do that, you would go to Space Engineers, go to Tools, and go to Texture Packing. And then within that directory, you're going to have your texture packing execute file. So you just double click that and open it up. You'll see it's just a blank screen like this. What you're going to do is you're just going to right click and go to settings. I'm just going to remove this real quick. Now when you're in settings, the first thing you want to do is the output. Wherever you want the new DDS file to go, you're going to put the output location. For me, in particular, the last place that I put a file into was my airlock bundle mod. So once you've got your output done, you don't have to worry about verbals, resize interpolation, generate mid-maps, or keep open. All this will be set up the way you want. What you want to do is go down here, click add, and then you'll have this new parameters for your output textures. What you're going to do is, in this box here is where you're going to put either CM, NG, or add. For this particular tutorial or quick follow through, we'll be working with the NG, or normal gloss as it's known. So you put NG, and then just this little drop down here, just click on that. Is alpha mask? Don't check that. You don't have to touch that. For the size, just keep it at the input. Compression, you want to have it at the max compression, BC7. And then for your width and height, it's basically whatever you're going to have your textures set as. Me personally, I like to keep all my textures at 2048. Oops. By 2048. Oops. So whatever your resolution is going to be, just set it up the way you want it. For your suffix, once you make the DDS file, your suffix will be the NG, the underscore NG. Before making it, I'll give you a little peek of how I did it. So I'll go to my bundle that I'm putting all these textures in. So as you can see, I have an albedo. This one's easier to see. So you need an albedo, which would be used to create your color mask. Normal, which will be used to create your NG. And then you'll have an AL, which would be used to create your additive or add. And as you can see, you have your CM, your NG, and add. These textures here is what this packing tool is going to create. So what you want to do is, your albedo is the actual texture that people are going to see on the block. So I like to use I like to use Crazy Bump to make my albedo into a normal map and an AL, but if you're familiar with doing a normal mapping and all that, you don't need to use Crazy Bump at all. Crazy Bump is really just so you can quicken that process of making your normal map. But anyways, to make your NG, you're going to have the highest compression for each one of these. NG, CM, add, all of it's going to have BC7 compression. Your resolution, make sure that's the same for all the textures you're going to be putting here. And then I'll just quickly go over all of them. Say you're working on your CM texture, you would be using the albedo. So for your suffix, it would be the albedo, because as you can see, that's the suffix that I have on my texture here. So whatever suffix you write here is the suffix on the texture that you're going to drag into this, which you'll see in just a second. So then we've got our albedo. This is the channel for your albedo is RGB, and then for default you're going to keep that empty, and then you don't ever have to don't ever worry about these checkboxes. Then you're just going to click add, so you can add a new one. And then with your albedo, this would be CM. With your albedo, you would have the metalness, because, well, CM stands for color metal. This is your color, and this is your metal. For metalness, that would be under the alpha channel. And this, because I don't have a texture here predefined, I would just put the parameter into here. Now metalness is a parameter from 0 to 255, 0 being not metal at all, and 255 being as metal as it can get. Typically I work with metal, so I put the 255, and then you apply, and then OK. Then what you would do at this point is just grab your albedo texture and drag it into this box, and then it would just do its magic and it would create your DDS file here. After that, then you go back in here, change this to an NG, click the drop down. The albedo will now be a normal map, and the metalness would be gloss. Now this is where the issue is coming in with Buddy's emissive. This parameter for your gloss has to be 0 to have no gloss. No gloss is 0, and for full gloss it would be 255. So the channels are the same for this. RGB for normal and alpha for the gloss. Click apply, OK. Then you would grab your normal map or normal texture, drag that in. Now, of course, if you wanted to define your glossiness, like just to have certain parts of the texture glossy while other parts are not glossy, obviously you're going to make a texture for that. Very similar to how I've got my ambient occlusion set up. You would have the darker parts are the least gloss, and the brighter parts are more gloss. And then you'd basically just select what did I just do? Sorry. You'd basically select both your textures and then grab both textures and then drag it into this texture packing tool. Very simple. Now your additive is done a bit differently. Again, you'll change this little suffix to ADD. Compression is the same. Your width and height, whatever you used for your CM and NG, will be the exact same for your additive. Now this is where it gets different. Your suffix, the first one is going to be AO, or ambient occlusion. That's basically how light will reflect off of your block. That's going to be in the red channel. Next would be your emissive, which would be in the green channel. And then you would have two more. You would have this, which is alpha. That's your blue channel. The blue channel will always be 0, no matter what, that's 0. And then the last one is your color mask. Now, emissive is basically what it is. It's that low glow that's going to emit off of the block. If you don't want any glow, you'll keep it 0. If you do want glow, you would put it from 0 to 255. Typically I like to use emissive to, like, if I can't put an actual light into my block but I want some kind of lighting in there, then I'll give it an emissive. As you can see, the only texture that I actually use is the AO, so then that I will keep blank. Color mask is basically just how colorable the block is. That's going to be in your alpha channel. So if you want people to be able to change the color of your block, 255. If you don't want them to change the color, keep it at 0. If you want them to partially be able to change the color, then you'll put it as any parameter between 0 and 255. And then you'd go apply, OK. Grab whatever of those 4 textures you actually have predefined, and then just drag it in. And that's pretty much all you have to do with this texture packing tool. And that's it. Once you've set up your parameters, dragged your textures, it's gonna create all your DDS files, and these are the DDS files that you're gonna be using in the game. These files here, you can actually, once you've created your mod, you can just put these files into a backup. The only files you actually need in your mod are these DDS files. So that's pretty much it. I hope this was very helpful. And yeah, I thank you for watching, and